Welcome back to Miss Annette's Little Farm in the Big City. Today we're going to talk about
honeybees.
Mason bees. Let's talk a little bit about mason bees. Mason bees like to lay their eggs in tubes like this, or in paper tubes like this. And as they lay their eggs, they'll lay their egg in the tube, then they'll put a little ball of pollen in there, and then they'll seal it with mud. And then they'll lay another egg, put a ball of pollen, seal it with mud, and continue on until they fill the tube and then ended up the tube with mud. Mason bees are very friendly and very rarely sting. They don't make honey like honeybees do because they only live for a short time. They spend their lives collecting pollen for their eggs, and they die in about 10 weeks. Mason bees are very good pollinators. They're very messy, and they kind of just tumble into the flowers and just make a big mess with the pollen and get it all over themselves. And then when they go to the next flower and the next flower, they just are making a big mess with the pollen. So that makes them such great pollinators because they are so messy. Mason bees also like to work alone. Unlike the honeybee that works in a hive with a big group of bees, the mason bee likes to do all of her work by herself and lives all by herself. She's a solitary bee. So that means all the female mason bees are the queen bees because all the females that are mason bees lay eggs, unlike the honeybee where the queen is the only one that lays the eggs. They like to lay them make their nest near flower beds. And you can make a mason bee nest very easily, and I'm going to show you how. I hope you can hear me over whoever it is that's laying an egg right now. But here's some of the materials you can use to make a mason bee. I'm going to use a milk carton because it's waterproof, and we're going to put it outside. And you can use a clay pot. You can use anything that's waterproof. And you're going to need some paper, some tape, a pair of scissors, and a pencil. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut this paper. Now I'm going to fold it in half like this. Just went a huge bird. I'm not sure what kind of bird it was, but it is huge. And we're going to cut it like this. It doesn't have to be too wide. It just has to be wide enough to fit in the container that you're going to be using. And there we go. And then you're going to cut it into strips again, but you're going to cut up about an inch, inch and a half. Just long enough to roll around the pencil. Oops, put that there. There you go, and they don't have to be perfectly straight or perfectly uniform because that's the way it is. Alrighty, you're going to take your piece of paper and your pencil, and you're going to roll the paper around the pencil, just like this. And then you'll get a piece of tape, and there you go. You have your tube. So you got to do this a few times, and you got to be patient sometimes when you're doing a craft. That's okay. It'll be worth it. Right? So let's make a whole bunch more. And I'll bring you in closer so you can see what I'm doing. Pencil. Oops. Paper. Roll it. Tape it. Now we just have to do that a million more times. No, not really, not a million. just a few more times. And then we'll be ready to make our mason bee nest. I'm going to go ahead and cut this box open. And you might want to get an adult to help you with this. But you just cut it like this, across. Oh, here comes the sun. And there we go. And I rinsed it out. And so I have this little box here, and I'm going to go ahead and place my tubes in here. So I have this, and I also have this tube. I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to cut it. And I have this big tube to give the mason bee a place to rest when she's done laying her eggs. So I have a big paper tube in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill it with these tubes. Now, let's go ahead and find a spot for it in the garden. I think this will be a good spot right here. Oh, maybe right here. There we go. Like that. Maybe you can try making one at home with your family. I ordered some mason bee eggs online, and me and my friends are going to go ahead and place them inside of this little container here. And take a good look and see. You want to come over here, Emmy? Alright, we're going to open this package. I ordered these bee eggs online. But if you go ahead and just make a habitat for a bee somewhere in your yard, you wouldn't have to order them online. Oh,
I wonder what's inside.
Oh! Look! Now, if you guys look, you'll see how it's closed off. Remember? And they didn't close it with wax. They have it with mud. And we're going to go ahead and... That's just to keep it cold, because when it goes in the mail, it has to stay cold. I'm going to keep them in the refrigerator until it started getting about 50 degrees every day. So now we're going to go ahead and put them inside of the container. So let's put them apart right now, okay, girls? All right.
I think there's tape on it.
And there's enough that each one of us can put one in, okay?
Hey, I'll put this one in.
All right. You're going to pick this one, Emily? Okay. And Gracie? All right. So hang on a second, and we'll turn the camera around so you can watch the kids do it.
Bamboo sticks.
I think they might be bamboo sticks. Oh.
Oh, look!
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you, Grace. Let's go ahead and show what this looks like. Yeah, show that it's sealed with mud. All right, let's put this right here so you guys can reach. And I'm going to go ahead and pull some of the ones that are hollow out so they can fill it in with these that already have eggs. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of these out and make sure that they don't have any eggs in them. So this one is hollow. And this one is, let's see, and we have 5, so I'm going to make sure I take 5 out. There.
Actually, put a bamboo stick in one.
Here, let me see. Now we want to make sure that the mud side is on the outside. So you want that side on the outside. So you're going to stick it in this way, okay? In one of the holes. Okay.
I'm going to put it in this hole.
There you go. Okay. So let's check yours. Bee and Me, written by Allison J. This is a very special kind of book because there aren't any words in it, not until the end anyway. So we'll be spending a lot of time talking about the pictures. This is our first picture. It's a picture of a city. It looks a lot like the city where Miss Annette lives. It's a big city with houses and big tall buildings and trees, clouds in the sky. It looks a lot like my city. Now, in this next picture, you're going to see an apartment building, and look really closely. you'll see the little bee flying into the little girl's window. Well, some people are afraid of bees, so it might be a little bit frightening. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the pictures. And we'll see here, in this picture, the bee is flown into the window, and the little girl sees it. And she looks like she's kind of frightened of the bee, doesn't it? Said some people are frightened of bees. I might have been frightened of bees when I was small too. Now I'm a little bit older and not so frightened of bees. So let's look at the next picture. The next picture shows the little girl looking for something because the bee scared her, so she wants to shoo him away. Or capture him, I think. Oh wait, it's a fly swatter. And the bee says, look at his eyes. What do you think he's thinking? What do you think the bee is trying to tell the girl? And there she is again, looking at the bee. What happened? She put the bee under a glass. Have you ever done that? Sometimes I do that when there's a spider in the house. So I think spiders really need to be outside, not inside. And she's looking at the bee, and the bee doesn't look very good, does he? Or she, I don't know. But the little girl's looking at the bee, and she finds a book and starts reading about bees so she knows how to help the bee. She bakes some sugar water. I just made some of that today for my hummingbirds. And feeds it to the bee. Oh, good job. And then the bee feels good and goes outside. He goes back out. I don't know why I keep saying he. I don't know whether it's a she or a he. They go outside. And then it starts to storm. Look at the storm. That's so scary. And then, if you look, you'll see the little girl is asleep, but then she has a neighbor upstairs. Maybe the storm woke them up. And the next day, it's raining. Do you think maybe the little boy was worried about the bee? Oh dear, look what happened. The bee came back to the window and they are all wet. All wet. Poor bee. So the little girl gives him some more sugar water, I bet. And dries him off with a hairdryer. I don't know if that would work, but it's awful cute. And the bee is so fluffy. They are very fluffy now. And feeling so much better. It looks like the little girl is reading more information about bees so she can help the bee. How are you liking our book so far without words? I like it. Oh, wow. Look at all these pictures. We're really going to talk about all these pictures. Let's look and see what we can see. Looks like they're becoming friends and they're doing a lot of things together. And she's watching the bee grow and they are having a really good time. Look at all the fun stuff they did together. Oh, and now, looks like they must have been shopping, and the bee sees some flowers. And looks like, I don't know, the little face on the little girl She looks just a little bit concerned about her friend the bee. So maybe they start talking about it, and the bee tells her how it feels. They say, I miss seeing flowers and fields, maybe. Maybe that's what they're saying. What do you think? It seems like they're still talking, and it looks like the bee is a little bit upset. And it looks like they discuss it enough that they decide on something. It looks like they're making a plan. Planning to do something. What do you think? Alright, I keep standing up. Standing up, sitting down. Oh, wow. Do you see this? They're going to go somewhere. Looks like they're going somewhere far away. They're going out the window, and the little girl is riding on the bee. Where are they going? Looks like they're leaving the city. Doesn't it? I hope you can hear me pretty good. It's a little bit cool and the heater's going on at the neighbor's house and you can hear it. Oh, wow. Looks like they're going to find someplace green where there's plants and flowers for the bee. Doesn't it look like that to you? They did! They found some flowers. Looks like the bee is really happy. Oh. And now they're planting seeds all over the city. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Now here it looks like they're coming back home and they're planting some seeds in the window box, the little girl's home. And now it looks like the bee is giving the little girl a hug because I think the bee is leaving. Look at that. Does it look like that to you? And she made a friend, and he's giving her a scarf that looks like a bee. I wonder if his grandma made it, because if you look at the earlier pictures, you'll see the grandma sitting in the room with him. And it looks like they made a bee snowman together. And they walked in the rain together. And they played together. Look at all that. And she planted her flowers are starting to come, so it must have been a long time since the bee has been gone. There we go. You can do it, Miss Annette. Oh my, look at how beautiful everything looks. Look at all the flowers. Remember they planted the seeds, and now the city has flowers everywhere, and the little boy and the little girl are so excited. And the bee came back! And there they all are, having a wonderful time with the bee. And at the end of the book it said, be aware. All over the world, when bees fly from flower to flower, they help plants to grow. Without bees, it's hard to grow food or flowers. But as cities get bigger, there are fewer flowers in the world and fewer bees. You can help by planting flowers. The good news is that bees love the most colorful and best-smelling flowers. And they don't have to be expensive plants. Bees love weeds too. I know that for a fact. They love dandelions. Bees also love herbs such as mint, rosemary, sage, and thyme. Good bee flowers are lavender, red or white clover, roses, dandelions, heathers, honeysuckle, sunflowers, sweet peas, and tulips. Another way to help bees is to leave them dry, dark hiding places where they might like to nest. They like to crawl inside little pipes, into log piles, or under upturned flower pots. If you have a garden, leave a little corner undisturbed to encourage bees and other helpful bugs. Don't try to touch or pick up a bee, though. It might sting you. And that was the last page of the book. I really like the way the girl and the bee made a connection. Making connections to nature is really important. Whether it's making a bee habitat, planting a seed, or just going outside to play. It's good for you and it's good for the earth. Okay. Good job. Can you find a space? How about right here, Grace? Can you get that in there? Now let me move this out of the way. There you go. Stick it in there. Get your finger out of the way, Grammy. Oh, there we go. Yes. Nice. Okay. Emily's turn. Come on, Em. One more out. Alright, Em, put yours right in. Oop. Good job. Oops. Well, Em, I think you're tall enough. Okay. Can you get it in there, Em? Need some help? Need help? Help me. Okay, I'll be happy to help you. Okay. Here, stick it right in here. Now what? Yeah, I don't know. She'll look like a movie star, I guess. Here, stick it in there.
I'm the movie star.
There we go.
Hold me!
Okay. All right. Good job. Let's get down. We have some reminders for you about mason bees.
Mason bees are the first bees in spring. Mason bees like to look around. Mason bees use mud instead of wax. Mason bees are great pollinators because they are super messy. Mason bees do not make honey. They eat pollen and nectar while they're alive.
Thank you for visiting Miss Annette's little farm in the big city. We'll see you next time.
Bye!